Hey guys, welcome to the Skolo Online YouTube channel, the channel that is all about learning. In this channel, we do videos on Python web development, specifically web development using a Django. All right, so today we're continuing where we left off. We're continuing with a video tutorial on how to build your own landing page generator from scratch using OpenAI and Django, and we're going to show you everything step by step. This is video number 4 in the series, so if you're just catching up, make sure that you go back and you have a look at video number 1, number 2, number 3, so that you can catch up with what we're doing and you don't get lost along the way. All right, now scroll down to the video below. You remember to like this video, remember to smash that subscribe button. Subscribe to our channel, it really helps to make these videos more available to other people who are interested in learning. All right, so again, remember to open up that show more button underneath the description of the video so you can get more information about what it is we are telling you about. So if you hear me say, I'm going to link it in the description below, you're going to find a link in there, find useful links in the description of everything that I'm doing and I'm teaching you in there. So just have a look there. And also over and above that, we've got video timestamps to help you navigate the different sections of the video. You don't have to watch the whole video. Our videos are quite long. Use the timestamps to figure out which part of the video you want to navigate to, and then just click on it like that, and it will fast forward you to that section of the video. And if you come back in future again, you can find the timestamps very, very useful. And again, remember, we got our social media, our links in our description, anything, my email address. If you want to get in touch with me, use it. And let's get learning. All right, so today this is where we are. Okay, so this is probably the last video in the series because we have built our online landing page generator. Okay, it is a simple landing page generator. All it does is that you come over here on the landing page of our website and you enter what your business is all about. So let's say my business is a Skolo Online. You enter the name of your business and then you tell us a little bit about what your business does. So our business is an online learning website where we teach Python web development, specifically with a Django framework. Okay, specifically with the Django framework. Let's do that. All right, and then let's say get website content. There we go. It has finished building. Here's our website. We've got a nice looking template over there. Online web development with the Django framework. This is our services, Python web development, online learn Python, and some of the descriptions. You can see some of them are missing, but it's all right, you know. And then if you go down, so these are the things that you can refine later on. Some of, you know, you can refine and, you know, allow people to add, you know, in cases where the API didn't, because it doesn't always 100% get you exactly what you want every time, but it's 90% of the job done, to be honest. And then you just, you know, you want to edit this a little bit there and add a title and web development with Django. This is our features: Django for web development, learn Python, Django, Django framework. So we've built this entire landing page and the content of this entire landing page with just 2 sentences. So imagine you ran a website where you built websites for people and you could just set up your templates ahead of time, and all people need to tell you is the name of their business and a little bit of a description, and they just click a button and it takes 30 seconds to build an entire landing page. And I think that's brilliant and that's amazing, right? And no thinking. And you could go back here and do this thing again. You could run it again. This time, let's say we are doctors and our name is, let me use I don't know, let me use Skolo again. Let me use Skolo, and let me say medical practitioners for the whole family, medical practitioners for the whole family, something like that, right? 2 sentences. Let's run this and see what I'm gonna fast forward this time. Medical practice, the perfect family practice. Welcome to Skolo, your online stop for medical practitioners for the whole family. We have a wide range of practitioners to choose from, so you can find the perfect fit. What are our services? A better way to manage your health. See the right doctor for you and your family. Find the perfect practitioner for your health needs. Oh my gosh, all of this We built with just 2 sentences, one-stop shop for all your medical needs. From babies to grandparents, we've got you covered. Comprehensive care for the entire family. How amazing is that, right? How amazing is that, being able to produce an entire landing page from 2 sentences? And that's what we're going to be doing in the video today. We're going to finish off where we started. I think this is really amazing. I'm excited. So let's start learning. We are going to be building a landing page generator, a full landing page. We're going to build a website where a user can just come in and just tell us a little bit about their business, their name, their business details, and we're going to take all of that and put it through the AI API and produce a landing page. And every time somebody enters different information, it will produce a different landing page. Okay, so this is going to be a process. This is a video 4 in our tutorial series. So if you're just catching up with us, please go back and have a look at our previous videos, because there's a lot that you have to do to get to where we are today. Where we left off last week was over here inside of our views, where I showed you how to at least produce the first part of the website content, and the rest was sort of like just made it like standardized. And I think part of your homework was to go back and figure out how to get everything else maybe in one function or something like that, so that somebody just enters the things, the function runs, and it produces all of this website content, which we have already written the functions to call the these things from the API. All right, so let's put it all together. Okay, I know I gave you homework, but I was quite busy last week. I didn't even get time to do the homework myself, so we're gonna do it together right in front of you. So the next part is the services. Okay, so we want this generator to produce at least 3 website services, and for each and every service we wanted to produce a description for that service. And if you look at our AI generator.py, we have a function over here that is supposed to return 3 services with a business do. Okay, so if you tell it what a business does, it should give you 3 services for that business. Let me just have a look at this. Our function is running over here, so I'm going to stop this. I'm gonna clear this, and I just want to remind myself what exactly we were doing here. So I'm going to just say I'm gonna run this in the shell. Okay, so if you wanna like test functions before running them in the actual application, you can run the Python Django shell. Okay, it's very specific. You don't just do Python, you do Python manage.py shell. It opens up a Python shell, and inside of here you can do whatever you want to do, like sort of test functions out before you figure out, and it will be running these functions inside of the Django context. That's a nice thing. So I want to import these functions from inside of where is this, which package is this in? It's inside of the website dash AI generator. Okay, so I'm gonna say from our website dot AI generator import. I just want to import this one function. I don't want to import everything. I just want to import this return 3 services. Okay, all right, and then I want to define a business do. What does a business do? All right, so let me like put something in here. This needs to be a string, and let me say our business, it I don't know, what do we do? We provide an online an online directory for Black owned businesses. It's in my head because I'm building something like this for a client, so it's just like, so I want to see technically, if I look at this code, I'm just trying to remind myself, because I did this like 2 weeks ago. This should be returning me a list, like a list of 3 items in the list. Okay, so let's just make sure that that's exactly what it does. It should return me a list with 3 items in the list, which should allow me to then iterate through that list to get all the 3 headings. Because if you look over here, I have defined that it needs to give me 3 items, and then the way I've created the prompt is going to number the items, and then over here I look out for the numbers and I take the numbers out, and I sort of split on the commas, so it sort of like gives me this should give me a list based on what we did the last time. But I'm just trying to remind myself to make sure. So let's wait for it. There you go. It does give me a list, and inside of that list is Black owned business directory, find Black business, support Black owned businesses. You see, there's the list with 3 items. The only thing is, it looks like in front of all the items there's like spaces at the beginning, which I don't know whether it is or it is not a problem, but for now we will deal with it later. Okay, cool. So it looks like this does what I expect it to do exactly. So what I need to do over there is to then call this function inside of the views. So where are our views? So inside of our views, I need to call this function. So maybe let's come up over here and create some space and say we need to get the service titles. All right, and to get the service titles, I'm going to say service titles is equals to this function. All right, return 3 services with the business due. And you can see from AI generator at the top there, I'm importing everything. So I'm not importing the functions one by one. It's going to import everything in that file, which means this function is also imported. And this returns that list. As you can see, we've tested it here. It returns a list with 3 items on the list. Then all I need to do is to say for service in a service titles, which is the service titles at the top. So I need to now iterate through this list. All right. I need to then say the service description. All right. All right, so this creates a list of service titles, and now I want to get the service descriptions. And the service descriptions, if I look at my generator file, it's this function over here with the title. So if I run this function with the title, it should give me the description. So I'm going to put it in there and put the title over there. We can even test this. All right, so if we come up here, let us import the same thing. So let's say from website, whatever, import. So this function over here. So from all of this, let's import this function, return service description. All right, and then inside of over here, we can put one of the titles. Right, I'm gonna put it exactly with a space and see what happens. Right, so go in there and paste that title. So what we're trying to do, oh no, that's not here. I should just be importing it. All right, so import it first, import that. Then once you finish importing it, then you can run it with a string title inside, and then that's where you can enter one of these titles over here. All right, so I'm just gonna paste that title over there, and I'm gonna run it to see what description it returns. There you go, and it works fine. All right, so what we're gonna do now is for every title, return the description for that title. Right, then once we've done that, we've returned the descriptions for all the titles. We actually want to put this maybe in a readable fashion with the way where the title and the description sort of go together. So I'm thinking over here, let's create a list. Services is equals to a list. All right, and inside of that list, for every service, we are going to define an object, right? And in this object, we are going to say, at the end of this object, we're going to say the object title is equals to the service. Okay, so this service is the one that needs to go in there. All right, so it's equals to the service, and then the obj description is equals to whatever the answer we get out of the service description. Understand? So now we're gonna create an object which is like in this specific case, it's going to be like a Python dictionary, and in there we'll have a title and a description inside of this object, and then we can just append this object to the services, sort of like append it to a list. So and this is basic Python stuff. Creating a list, creating an object, appending it to the list is a good way of iterating through things and getting the things in a dictionary together, so that you can then refer to them later on in another place, part of the function, because this service description and this service really exist inside of the loop that you're running. So here you're running a loop to say, because you're going to return a list over here. And once you've returned that list, you are now looping through that list. So as you loop through the list, the first time you loop through the list, you're going to get the first service in that list. And when you get that first service in that list, we want to put that service inside of that dictionary so that we can refer to it later. And then after that, we then want to add the description. So we're going to go from this list, which just had titles, to a list which now has a title and a description, so that later on we can then iterate through it in our HTML. You understand? So now what we're going to do, we're going to then say let's see, we're going to then say we're going to now append this list. We're going to now say services like this. All right, append the obj, and then this will then run 3 times because there should be 3 items in this list, and now you'll have your services list. And now when you get to now services 1 title will now be services services at 0, right? Because we expect 3 items in that list, you know, right? Will be services at 0 title. You see, like what we called it there. And the description will be exactly the same thing. Services at 0 description. And this is a very dangerous function to write because it's going to throw an exception if for example this doesn't return 3 items for some reason. And so when you write code, and now I'm teaching you good coding practices, and I had to learn this also the hard way because I didn't learn code at school. I sort of learned code. I taught myself. I'm self-taught. This is why I know it's possible to learn from YouTube and learn from people like me and learn how to do it. So one of the skills and tips I want to give you is, when you write code, you must always think, what are all the things in this code that could throw an exception, right? And always try to make sure that you catch your exceptions. You'll hear people talk about catching exceptions. What that means is that if you, for example, I try to specifically look for services at 0, services at 1, services at 2. If the list that you're looking through or you're looping through doesn't have services at 1 or services at 2, maybe it only had 2 items in the list, but you're now trying to refer to the 3rd or the 4th item, it's going to throw an exception. It's going to throw an exception that says this list is out of range. Okay, and if that runs inside of your application is going to have an internal server error and crash or something like that, and that is the worst thing for a developer. You don't want that. So every time you write a function like this which can possibly throw an exception, even though you know that you should have 3 services, you can't predict what OpenAI is going to do. This is something that could possibly return only 2, not 3. Sometimes maybe you're gonna run out of credits one day and it returns something different. So that could throw an exception. So when you do write a function that can throw an exception, you have to put it inside of a catch block so that you can catch that exception, so that you can say, if there's an exception, do something else. Otherwise, your function, your application is going to crash in front of people that are using it. Okay, so for now, I'm not gonna worry about catching every single exception, but I'm teaching you now so that you learn. This is, and I will note it every time I come across in my mind something that I know could possibly create what we call an exception, right? So over here you would say services description. All right, that is a services at 0. Okay, so you'll have 0, 1, and 2. All right, so you'll do the same thing for this and for that. So let me just delete that. All right, and then delete these, all of these. This is services at 1. This should be at 2. All right. But because this whole thing can throw an exception, especially if all of this, for example, let's say you run out of credits or something goes with OpenAI, you shouldn't be writing these functions inside of the view. Okay, I'm doing them inside of the view because I'm taking you through step by step. Ultimately, what we'll want to do is to take this function outside and maybe create that's why this functions.py file is created over here. You might want to run these functions in here, and then you can wrap the entire function inside of an exception, and where you can catch the different exceptions. And then inside of your view, if for example one of the exceptions gets triggered, you could just display a page that says, oops, something went wrong, please try again, instead of having the whole application crash and showing an error 500 to the client. You know what I'm saying? So let's just copy that, paste that there, paste that there. So this is the titles. So this will be titled at 1 and this will be titled at 2. All right, and then the description as well. This will be description at 1, and this will be description at 2. Right? Services 2. So this function over here, this you need to put in a try catch. You need to catch a possible exception that can come from here. But for now, I'm not going to worry about that. And then let's do section 3 title. Section 3 title will be exactly the same as this one. But let me see if we had section 3 title. We didn't create another function for it because I remember saying it's going to be exactly the same. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a title over there. I'm just going to say return section 1 title business due, return section 1 description and whatever, because it's exactly the same. We're going to just get the same description and title, but we're running it again. So the second time you run it, you're going to get a different response, which is exactly what we want. Okay, but it's a similar thing on the website. And then we're going to do the same thing for the features over here. All right, so I'm going to actually just copy all of this. In fact, I'm going to just copy all of these and put it a little down here a little bit. Right, and then I'm going to do like a search services. So everywhere there's services over here, I'm just going to replace services with features. All right, and then I'm going to replace this with features. All right, and then I'm going to go and look for my functions, AI generator. So return 3 features with business due. So let's copy that. Over here it needs to return 3 features. All right, with business due. And then over there where it returns the description from the feature, return feature description, we're going to replace this one over there, return feature description. All right, and then for service, instead of saying for service, I'm going to say for feature in service title. Okay, it's fine, I'll replace that later. For feature, let's do one thing at a time. So here is feature titles. All right, feature titles in feature titles. Okay, and I'm just gonna do a quick search here to make sure I've spelled everything right. You see, this is wrong. This must match. These feature titles must look like that exactly. And then for feature, this feature must look like that feature over there, and these features must be the same as that. This is just a quick check that I didn't misspell anything as I was typing things around. All right, so this is then a service description. This is feature description. This should be feature description. Okay, let me just copy and paste so that I'm just gonna save myself the trouble. And then this feature over here is what needs to go in there. All right, so let me just do another check again that there's no word service in here. Get the feature titles. Okay, so you can just double check and see if I've done everything right. I could have made a mistake, a typo. Features is a list. That's the same features we append over there. Feature titles, which is the same feature titles we're looping through. We get 3 features with business due. And then for every feature, we loop through that list. We do the object, we get the feature description, which we put inside of the description, and the title, which we put inside of the title. We return feature descriptions using that feature over there, and then we append the object. Cool. Now, everything that's going on over here, we need to like sort of copy services 0 title like that, and description like that. Okay, so let's just remove all of this. Paste. Let me remove that. Paste. Let me remove that. Paste. Services description, and then the services title. Let's copy that, paste it over there. Services title, and let's copy it over there. Services title, and then the services we just need to replace with a feature. All right, features, which is this features over here. I can actually use find replace because it's quite a bit of them I need to replace. So find, replace that one, replace, and then the last one I can just manually do it so that I don't end up replacing too much. Cool. So now we've got everything that we need to build our entire website, because remember we had that fake text that was just showing you, but now we've got everything we need to literally build the website with actual content, right? And this is going to take a while because there's a couple of API calls we do. We do an API call over here, we do an API call over there, we do an API call, and then we loop and we do 3 different API calls for each one of these, and then we do the same thing for each one of these, and then we do another API call. So if I count, I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all right, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 maybe API calls. That's quite a bit. And if every API call takes 2 to 3 seconds, we're talking about close to 30 seconds that it's going to take to run this entire thing. I'm actually going to time it right now so that I can see exactly how many seconds this thing takes. Okay, let me just find my my stopwatch. I've got one. I actually want to time exactly how long this is going to take, because if a page takes too long to load, you might want to help your clients with something that keeps them busy so that they don't refresh the page or move away from the page, because even though it's taking long to load, technically the calls are happening in the background, and if you're going to have people refreshing the page, maybe because they get impatient or they think something is going wrong, that's going to be a problem. So I'm going to quickly show you how to put on a loading page as well, because it's one of the questions we got the last time, because these API calls do take a bit of time, and we should create some sort of loading page of sorts. Okay, but let's do that a bit next. Okay, git commit, we've got we've completed the API calls. All right, coolio. Then once we've done that, we're going to exit out of this, right? We're going to clear this, we're going to run this. All right, we're going to run this, we're going to run import oh, okay, I see. All right, features at 0 title. This over here, we just forgot that to delete that. Okay, that's a problem. That's all right. It's a quick fix. Let's go back. Typo. Coolio. Let's then run this again. It's already running. All right, so we're going to refresh this page, and I'm going to use a business name of Skolo. I'm gonna say my business do is that Skolo, it is an online directory for Black-owned businesses, right? And then I'm going to press this, get website content, and then I'm gonna start my timer. So this is running. You don't see it, but if you look at the top over here, you can see there's a loading thing happening on the screen. But ideally what you'd want to do is also create a loading, waiting thing on your website to help people. Otherwise, somebody might look at this and think, oh, I just pressed the button, what's going wrong? They might keep pressing it again, especially if it takes too long to load, all right? So they'll be like, pressing it again, and that's not a good thing, all right? So, we're gonna have to do something about that, but I'm still waiting. We are past 30 seconds. Yeah, my estimate was a bit right on 30 seconds. It took about 30 seconds to load. All right. Okay, so Black-owned business directory. Skolo is a leading online directory for Black-owned business with over da. All right, and then there you go. There's our 3 titles. Find the best Black-owned business. Easily find Black-owned businesses. Find the best. Okay, now this is repetitive. This service allows you to find the service makes it easy to buy. The service is users connect, find black-owned businesses near you. It's a bit repetitive though. Okay, the only directory you need so that's the first feature over there. The second one, the only directory you need for black-owned businesses, the only directory you need. Okay, so this is a bit repetitive, and I don't know why it's doing that. The only directory to find you're looking for, and I also don't like so I don't know why this has the marks on top of it, but even this looks very similar to that, right? I don't know whether it's because maybe I need to put some time lag. I don't know. Perhaps, after this. Okay, so I'm going to do something interesting here. I'm going to import time, which is going to just add even more time to our waiting. But I'm going to try and put a time lag in here, okay? Because perhaps the API is getting overwhelmed and just returning the same stuff again. But I am looping through it, right? But it's because the titles are all similar. If you think about it, these titles look the same. And this title, the only directory you need, maybe there was no content, right? Because sometimes OpenAI does that. Okay, so let me remove the time lag. Let me try a different business. Let me try something like a doctor, right? So let me say my name is Dr. Strange. And my business details is my business. We are like a medical doctors, medical family doctors near you. I don't know, something like that. Let's try and see if we get a bit more variety with this, because there should be a lot of content on the API for this. All right, I didn't time it this time, but I think my 30-second estimate was a bit spot on the last time. So I'm going to assume that this API thing takes about 30 seconds to bring in a response, which then brings us to the next point. How are you going to get something loading? I think I was searching for loading GIFs earlier on, and I found a good one, which I think I'm going to use, which is this one over there. And the nice thing about it is that it's got an embed on it. So you could actually just like get a responsive one and get an embed. Our website should be done now. There you go. There you go. All right, find the best medical family doctor near you today. Looking for a medical family doctor near you? Look no further than Dr. Strange. Our talented and experienced teams of doctors are here to help you with all of your medical needs. Whether you're looking for a primary care physician specialist, we have you covered. We have most major insurance plans. That's nice. The only thing is then we have that problem of ours of having the content being too long, because you have to manage that as well with the templates as well. So we're going to have to put some controls in place that checks for if this content is more than a certain length, that we reduce it. Okay. And over here, what happened? Why do we only have 2 and not 3? Because this seems like the description, but there's no title over there. Get the best medical care, find doctors near you, find a family doctor near you, find a family doctor near you, find a family doctor near you. Why is this repeating 3 times? Oh, I know. Oh, okay, cool. This is exactly why. So this is 012, this is 000. Okay, I didn't change this. Okay, so this should be 1. Somebody must have noticed this and just been looking at me thinking, no, that's why it's repeating. Why can't you see it? Okay, so next time we should have like a chat line or something like that, so that you can, if you're watching this live, you could remind me, because obviously probably somebody noticed this except me. So this is the problem over there. But other than that, I think we're good, eh? And this is not the template we're going to use, all right? So I just wanted to show you the right way to do this. But before we do this, let's put on our loading, okay? Let's put on our loading, because we want something to load in the meantime. It takes too long to call the API, and we don't want to wait for it. And we'll fix them. the sort of the content length later on, because I tried to request a certain length from the API, but it always gives me whatever it wants to give me. So we're going to have a control in place over here that just looks at the length of the description over here, and if the length is greater than, I don't know, a certain whatever, then it splits at the, at the full stop, because we need to split at the full stop. We can't just cut blindly, because you can see the sentences are split by a full stop, and we can like remove maybe the last sentence or the last two sentences. So what we'll do is that we will like I think we can even write this now, because we can limit this content. So let's say we only want it to go up to here, right? So let me put this inside of Python. Okay, let me close this. Let me clear. Let me say Python. Here you can do a normal Python shell. It doesn't have to be the Django shell. And then you can say, I want to see the length of this. All right. I want to see how long this is. Is it the length of this? This. All right, let me put it in here. Yeah, so why is this a problem? Why can't we get the length of this? Oh yeah, we need to put it both in there like that. Oh goodness. Oh, because because the you're in here, this. Okay, let me actually just put it inside of string in here and make sure that this is okay. Okay, cool. So let me copy it like that, and let me try this again. The length, you can just paste it as it is. Right, 265 characters. So let me say 260. Yeah, 260 characters maximum that I want over there for the description. So I could write a function that, first of all, let's put this inside of a let's write a function in here, inside of function over there. This is, we're writing our functions now. Let's call it get description, right? And we'll see what else needs to go in there, and then this is the function. All right, so let's import AI generator stuff in here, right? So over here, clearly we need to put in here, this must go into the function. All right, so description is equals to this. All right, the description is equals to this. What we can even do over here, we can even enter physically the length, but for now let's assume the length will always be 265. So 265. The length is 265. All right, if the length of the description of this description, right, if the length of this description is less than less than this length, okay, this length over here, this length that we've defined, all right, if it's less than that, all right, return the description, right? So if it's less than 265, you can just return the description as is, right? Else, if it's not less than 265, we're gonna get description list. All right, we're gonna say we take this description, we split it on the full stop. So it's gonna create a list of all the sentences in there split on the full stop. All right, and then we're gonna say for, okay, description list, no, for this description in description list. So now we're gonna iterate through that list that we've just created, that we've split by the comma. All right, we're gonna say We want to search for when the length is just close to 265, but not too much, right? So we're going to say surely we don't do that. We're not going to say for description and whatever. We're going to say let's say count. I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud even as I'm writing this function. I'm just engineering this function as I'm writing it. We're going to say while true. Let's do a while true. Right? While true, we're going to say we're going to take this description list. We're gonna say the answer, you can call this anything, is a string, right? And then for description in description list, answer plus equals to, no, answer do you do that? Answer plus, no. How do you append, or how do you add? Let me just click this. All right, let's say a is equals to the length, b is equals to the width. I'm just trying to remind myself how to do that. C is equals to that, c plus a. Yeah, you can't do that. C a c is equals to okay, so this is what I want to do. I want to say answer plus equals to so I want to add like the first description, right? So I want to add this. So for description in all of this, we add the description, right? So the first time you do this, you will end up with this answer having recreated the whole sentence with all of the sentence, with the whole paragraph with all of the sentences added. And then we're gonna do a check. We're gonna say if the length of the answer, is greater than 265, if the length of the answer is greater than 265, we need to take this list, this description list, right? No, the whole description list. We need to take this description list, and we shouldn't say 265 here. We should say length. Okay. We need to take this whatever, and we need to remove. We need to remove the last element, the last thing of the list, the last variable in the list. And how do we know what the last variable in the list is? We take this thing and we remove the okay, so let's do that. The last variable, the last sentence is equals to this list, okay, let me just check this here. Let me create a list here. List is equals to, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? And I want to know the last element of this list. Can I say the last element is the length of the list? The length of the list is 5. So if I say list, okay, remove this list, remove list at the length of the list. Would that work? Yes, remove at the length of the list minus 1. Remove list at the length of the list minus 1. And then we look at the list again. We now have 4. All right, this is what I want. So I want to remove the last element of the list. All right, so I don't even have to specify what the sentence is. So I can just say description list, right? Description list, remove description list, no, at the length of description list minus 1. You understand? So description list, remove the description list at this location, the last object of the list. So let's hope this is right. Then once you've done that, so you remove the last element of the list of the paragraph, then we go and we check the length again. If the length of the answer is greater than this length, all right, we do that and then we continue. Else we just return the answer. So this will break when you return out of the function, and then if you didn't break, it will go back into the loop again. Now you've removed the last element, and then it will create another answer, and then it will go through this list. Now we've removed the list. The list is now a shorter list, all right, and we don't even need the count anymore. So I'm gonna try this function and get description, business name, business do. Actually, I want to try I want to just test this function. Okay, so let me say there's a sentence. No, def limit to limit a paragraph length. All right, and then I'm going to enter the sentence here, and then over here I'm going to want to return the answer. Description. In fact, the sentence, I'm going to just call it a description, and then the length. This length we can actually also define it inside of when we call the function, so that this function can be flexible to return any length that you give it, right? So we do that, and then we're just going to copy all of this, because I just want to test this function, that if I give it a description and I give it a length, will it always return what I needed to return within the length that I wanted to return. So I give it a length of, let's say, whatever, 265, 200, whatever I give it. I check if the length of the description I gave it is less than this length, it just returns it because it's less than that. Otherwise, it splits this, and while true, it creates that, and for whatever, it adds in there, and then it checks the length, and if it's greater than the length that we want, we'll remove the last part of the thing, and then we go back to the loop again, and then it checks the answer again until this will keep happening, and at some point this will be false, and then it will return the answer, right? I hope. Right, this function, I just really freestyled it right in front of you right now, so I just gotta quickly check that it's gonna work the way I want it to work. So let's exit out of here. Let's clear this. Let's push these changes over here. Test the length function. All right, git push. Coolio. So dish. I just thought of something. If you had a one sentence thing, like this only works for for more than multiple sentences by removing, for a paragraph that has multiple sentences, by removing always the last sentence of the paragraph. But if the length was a problem and there was only one, like if this was the length of this, once you created this list and this list only had one item in it, you should just return it, because it means, we'll just update that later on. But let's run this in the shell. Okay, and let's say from website functions. Okay, from website of functions, import. I want to import this function over here. Right, and then I want to define a description and a length. All right. Actually, the description is this one that we got over here. I want to take the entire description. So let me paste it here first and make sure I've removed all make sure that this is a proper string. Cool. So that's the description. Okay, and then the length, we're going to define it as 265, right? Then we're going to call this function over there, limit, and see if it will run this. There you go. It has now returned a function. You can see it's a smaller thing. So let's check this length. Let's put it in here. All right, and then let's just check the length of this. The length of this, close it, it's 264, right? So it worked. So this function of mine, perfecto. But what I wanted to do here is to say, if this, let's say you've got a list, right? And the list only has one element in it, right? Like that, okay? And you do the length of this list, right, is 1, okay? So what we need to do here is, once we've done this, we need to say if the length of this list, is equals to 1, like there's only one element in there, right? We need to just return the description. We need to just return, because nothing is going to work if it's, so let me put this thing in here. So the length of this list is equals to 1. That's true. Okay, so if the length of this is equals to 1, we need to just return the list. We're not going to do anything here, right? So let's just add this in here after the description, after this, right? If the length is equals to 1, return. Otherwise, while true, it will continue and do the rest. Okay, so we're gonna put the length in there and business name business do. Okay, so we've tested this, we're good. We don't need that one. Actually, let's just leave it. Maybe we'll use it in future for something else. Okay, so over here, what we'll do is that we'll say get description. So now we're gonna replace this get description, right, inside of the views. You see where we were calling the description over there, we're going to replace it with get description, you see, and then we're going to replace it with get description, and we need to enter the business name, business do, and the length. All right, so we need to enter the business name, business do, and the length. So the length here, we're going to make it 265, right? And we can do the same thing over here. Right, over there we can do the same thing over there, and it will do the exact same thing. It will come over here, it will get this function from, it will import it from there, and then it will run this, and it will always return a description of less than 265 characters. So we can limit this to 265 characters, and we can limit that as well, right? And we probably want to do it the same for here as well, but later on, depending on the template that we're working on, I'm just showing you now an example of how to do this. Later on, depending on the template that we pick, you're going to find that even over here, we might want to limit based on the space that's available, because that's the other thing about templating, is that you gotta fix things. Otherwise, if this is too long, then it looks weird with that image, if the image doesn't look quite right. Okay, so that's all right. I think I'm happy with that. Then what we really wanted to do here, remember, was to do the loading. Okay, so let's do the loading quickly. The loading, what we need to do for the loading is we need to, let's go to our HTML. I think it's this website.html. No, it's not this one. It's the index HTML over here, where we let's build your website, where we start to do that. So over here, we need to put a loading thing, and there are a couple of steps we're going to follow over here in creating the loading. Number one, we need to find something that we want to load. All right, so let's do that quickly. And I think I said we want to load this GIF. Okay, so let's copy this code, and then I'm going to go over here, and inside of the container, so let's put this form together so that we know what's happening there. All right, so inside of this container, you can see this is like everything that's being displayed right now, right? And then we want to like hide all of this and then display something else when the page is loading. All right, so what I'm going to do is that I'm going to create some space, and I'm going to add a div over here, and inside of that div, I'm going to put this loading GIF. All right, but that's not enough. It means that we're going to conditional display this div or that div or this section. So maybe we want to put all of this inside of a div as well, so that we can conditionally display one div or the other. All right, so we can choose to either display this div or display that div. And you could do conditional display with Python and Django, but that's not going to work this time, because we want to like conditionally display the second div as soon as the button is clicked. We want that button to disappear, and the best ways to do that is to use a jQuery. So we're going to combine a little bit of what we do in Python with the jQuery. Okay, that's like the best way to do it for now, because I'm not using like a front end platform, like, you know, a front end, you know, it's something like, you know, like React or whatever. Because if you're writing something in React or Vue or whatever, those kind of things, you know, because you do the logic, you write the logic even in how you're displaying the HTML or the JavaScript, it would be easier to just like, you know, write code like that in there. But because we're not using anything like React, we're doing everything in HTML. One of the best ways to sort of write some logic in sort of like a display functionality is to use a jQuery, and I'll show you how we're going to do it now. All right, so number one, we need to give this an ID. All right, we need to give this an ID, and we're going to say that this is, I don't know, this is like, let's call it main page. All right, and then let's call this one id is equals to, let's call this the loading page. All right, and then div iframe, there's an iframe in here. If you wanna just see what's going on in there, that's where the iframe ends. And then there's another div over there at the bottom with a paragraph, and that paragraph just is a link to say via Giphy. I think we can't remove that because they're giving this for free. It's one of those you have to like give them a link back to their Giphy website. That's okay, but I want to put all of this inside of a column because I want to make it small. I don't want it to fill the whole page. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to do div row. All right, I'm going to do div column lg3. All right, and I want to just do the same thing as I go, and then do another div column lg3. Probably a fast way to do it, but it works, so I'm just gonna do it like that. I'm gonna do column lg6. What this does is that it just splits the thing into different columns. So lg3 will be on the side, so it gives it a bit of padding, and then lg6 in the middle will be a 6 column, and then I'm gonna replace everything in there. All right, so that it doesn't like fill the whole page. I don't want this to fill the whole page. I just want to put it in the middle, like sort of like it is right now, right? So it will be like sitting somewhere in here, and then there'll be some spaces and at the edges. All right, so this is the loading page. So this is the ID for the main page, the ID for the loading page. All right, so let's push this, and then you'll see what this looks like. So we're loading that. I'm gonna exit out of this shell. I'm gonna clear, make some space over there. Let's run this. Let's run this. 811 dish. Now that we're running this, let's now just refresh this and go back. You can see this is the loading thing, right? But I don't want this to load at the bottom like the way it's loading right now. I want, as soon as you press this button, I want this whole thing to disappear. And I don't want this to show the first time around. I want this to be hidden. And then once you press the button, then this to disappear and that to be shown, to be clear. So this is where the jQuery comes in, all right? So go and Google. I'll put these links in the description. This as well, if you want, I'll put it in the description. The jQuery, we're gonna use a CDN for now. We could download it and but which is probably the best way to do it, but for now I'm just going to use a CDN. So if you go to their CDN, I'll put this link, you just go there and find this website. I'm going to put it on, and we're going to use the 3 times jQuery, and we're using the minified version. You could use slim minified, but I don't know, I'm just going to use the minified. You go to the bottom where your script is, underneath the script that we did with the bootstrap. All right, underneath that bootstrap script, you're going to put in you're going to paste that CDN. What a CDN is like, you could download this jQuery file and host it yourself and refer to it from your computer. Or otherwise, these guys are hosting this file already, right? They are hosting it and they're giving you a link. And you can just use that link and put it on your file, and then it will find this file on the internet. It's being hosted on the internet. So right now you are just accessing a file that's hosted by someone else for you to use on your website, which is okay because generally people are going to be online to find your website. The only problem with CDNs is that it slows down your website considerably. So this I would not do in production. All right, but for what I'm showing you right now, it's okay to do it. But once we get to production, what we're going to want to have to do is to actually download these files and host it ourselves. We could still host it online, if you know, but not via the CDN, because it definitely slows down your website quite a bit, right? And your website won't be competitive with that. So then when we get to this point, now what we're going to do is now we're going to add in a script. In here, we're going to write some jQuery code, okay? The first code we want to write is we want to hide this, right? We want to hide this loading thing, you know, and I think we need to hide it as soon as the document is ready. All right, so we're gonna write a jQuery document ready function. I'm gonna just remind myself how to do this because JavaScript is not my strength, but there are some cases where I do have to write JavaScript code or jQuery code, and then I have to just remind myself what exactly am I supposed to say here. All right, so I think over here we need to say document, right? So the document is like the entire website. All right, we're gonna check when the document is ready. So document ready, so as soon as the page loads, all right, we're gonna write this function, right? And then you put the curly braces, the JavaScript famous curly braces, and you put enter. So that's it. This is a document ready function. If you're not sure how to do this, I actually Googled it myself. You can just Google jQuery document ready function in case you forget it in future, because I do it pretty much all the time. I have to write this, I have to Google it. Then once you've done that, when the document is ready, what I want to do is I want to take this loading page, this div, this entire div, which is in this ID, right? I want to hide this section. I don't want to show this. I want to hide all of this, and I want to only show it when this form is submitted. Okay, so we need to refer it via its ID. Okay, so we're gonna start with the $sign again, and we're gonna say what is the ID. When you refer to an ID, you use a hashtag, and the ID is this ID over here, loading page. So we need to hide the loading page. Okay, loading page dot hide. Funny enough, you just use the words hide, right? Loading page dot hide, so it will hide this over here. Then once you've done that, you want to display it when this button gets clicked. So we need to go to the button and provide it an ID. Okay, so we're gonna call this button get website content. So we're gonna write another function, and this function again starts with a $sign. Right, and this function is now we're going to refer to the button. All right, so to refer to the button, we use the hashtag again. So the button is get website content. So let's just copy that button there. Get website content, we need to, when this button gets clicked, so on click of this button, so when this button gets clicked, we're going to have a function. It's a button click function. And the famous curly braces again, JavaScript curly braces. So when this button get website content gets clicked, which is a submit button, so it's a click function, right? What you need to do is that you need to show this, but before you show that, you need to hide this, right? So let's just copy this and paste it there. So this one needs to show. Loading page needs to show, but before loading page shows, the main page needs to hide. Okay, we're gonna take the main page and hide the main page and show the loading page. All right, and then the other thing on the loading page as well, before we even get to this, I'm gonna copy some of what's in here, because we do have like an H1, just something that tells the person what's going on, like a you know, yeah, like I don't know, that we are loading, just like we're working on it. We are working on your content. Okay, and then maybe something like a paragraph here of class lead that says do not refresh the page. You know, you just want to tell them that, so that they don't refresh the page thinking that perhaps something is going wrong. Okay, you could even put it inside of a alert or something like that, just to draw attention to it if you want. All right, so the loading page, there'll be a heading there that says we are working on it, do not refresh the page. We could even do this inside of the column 6, so that it's in the middle of the page. right, maybe we don't even need the line, just that. Okay, so we're downloading jQuery. We are hiding the loading page, which is this div. We are hiding it at the beginning, and then when somebody clicks that button, we will then hide the main page and show the loading page. Okay, cool. So let's run this and see. Okie dokes, let us refresh this and have another look at it. So now we refresh that. That thinking man has disappeared, right? So let's think of a nice name to use here. Let's think of a nice name. I don't know, what is a nice business name? Skolo Online. Okay, this is like a online learning for Python web development. Okay, online learning content for Python web development. Okay, you click the button, boom, get description is not defined. Okay, I think I know what this is. So inside of the views over here, I need to import this get description, damn it, from, excuse my French, .functions, import that get description. Right? Don't be afraid of errors, hey? Import. Don't be afraid of errors. You know, when I started programming, I used to like cringe every time I saw an error. Oh my God, it's not working. And I get that all the time from some of my young developers as well. When something sort of like crashes, like, oh my gosh, it's not working. That is the whole point of debug. You're going to get an error. Just read what the error says. What does it say? The error, in fact, with Python is so good that you will know what's wrong from reading. The error itself will tell you where the problem is. It will tell you. So first of all, look at the value of the exception. And then the next place you need to look at is the traceback. The traceback is your friend, because the traceback traces back to where the error comes from. It will even highlight the line inside of your code that is causing the problem. So in this specific case, you will see this is not defined. I immediately knew what was wrong, but let's say I didn't figure out, from this. When you look at the traceback, you can see where the error started. So you can see it's even highlighted, this line 17, and over here it will show you the file that has the problem. You see this file is this development variable website views.py line 17. Okay, so you go to your file line 17 and you can see over there, this is the file that has got the problem. All right, and it's this one that says get description business name. It's now line 18. It was 17 because I added this new line here, but before I added here, it was line 17. But it even copies and pastes the line for you, so you can see this is the line that has a problem. If you can't figure this out, you can even open the more of the traceback, and there are two ways you can view the traceback. You could look at the copy and paste view, which is this one, all right, which shows you this traceback, which is also available inside of your, wherever you're running your thing from on the shell. You will see also on the shell the traceback, the error, this is not defined. You see it over there. You will see even here, the file that has a problem is this line 17 in home. This is the file, this is the line that has an error. Okay, and then you can see, oh, this is where the problem is. So I get like people copying and pasting errors and emailing them to me. Guys, don't do that. Don't do that. Read the error, look at the value of the exception, trace back to where the problem originated. The answer is always usually there 99% of the time. And in that 1% instance where you really can't figure it out, that is what Stack Overflow is there for. All right, so I'm going to then refresh this page, and we're gonna try that again. All right. Skolo Online is the name of the business. The business details is our business details is online content for learning Python web development. Right? Online content for learning Python web development. Let's try that. Do not refresh the page. We are working on your content. Very nice. And then you got the thinking man is thinking. Now people know that you're doing something, and that so they're not gonna like refresh the page. They're gonna wait for you to get your content, and it takes time. Now it's working. The thinking man is thinking, is loading. Let's just wait for it and see when it finishes running. There we go. You can see now the paragraph is now smaller. It fits exactly where we want it to fit. We've limited the content. Even if the AI returned longer content, we cut it down to the length that we needed because the templates have got a given length. Okay, Python web development. There you go. Online content for learning, Python web development services, this is amazing. Hey, that's your content. Learn Python web development online. It's slightly different to that. It's got another description which is also limited to the length, and then you've got your what you call it, the features over there. Okay, this feature doesn't have a heading, but you've got the features over there. Isn't that amazing? We've now generated proper website content. Okay, headings over there. So we're pretty much done. So the next part of our learning journey is obviously the CSS. I've been telling you about downloading this and that for a long time, for the longest of time. Now we're gonna get to it, because what I wanted to do first of all was just do the technical bits of the website. The technical bits are now done. You are able to just take a heading, a business name, and a short, not even a sentence, like 5-word description, and build all of this website content using AI. This is amazing. 90% of the work is done. What we're going to do now is, when someone is building a website, obviously we don't want every time to be showing this little, fox for everything and this plain, bootstrap. We want to work with actual templates. We want to put the content in a nice looking template. Why is this too long? Maybe 265 is a bit long for this one, hey? But we'll see later on, depending on the template that we're working with. Perhaps the templates will have the lengths defined, and we'll be able to, like, for every part of the content, get the length that we want and have the thing break down into the length that we want for every part of the content. But this is amazing, guys. I mean, this is like really great. I'm very happy. I think if I wasn't worried about the CSS and the HTML, we would be pretty much done with the rest of it. Okay, so now let's continue and get to the real interesting bit. All right, now I've been racking my brain how exactly we're going to do this. Right, the first thing is, we're gonna work with this Izuki. Okay, so you need to get this from Envato Elements. So go over there and sign in. Okay, I need to sign in because I thought I was signed in, right? And once you've signed in, you need to get that template, Izuki template, and then we're gonna just download it, right? Let's download it. Let's call it Skolo Online, and download that template. So we're gonna put our content in this template, and we're gonna do something even better, because we want people to be able to download the HTML. So we wanna be able to, like, say to somebody, when they get to this page, there's a button at the bottom that says boop, download HTML, and they can literally take their HTML file and they can go load it anywhere and it will work. Right? That means that we wanna host the images and the CSS online, the way we did with the CDN. Because we don't want to host anything on our machine. We want to host it in a place that anybody can access. So we want to actually build our own CDN for the HTML and the CSS, because if I'm hosting this in my personal computer and somebody downloads the HTML, they'll only get this HTML, right? And if I was referring to any images or CSS, directly in my static folder, if they download the file, they won't get the CSS and the HTML. But if I could host my CSS and my HTML in a CDN, right, the same way we are doing the jQuery files and the Bootstrap files, these are now all in a CDN. It means if I copy this file, if I copy this, right, and I paste it anyway, it's gonna work every time, okay? Even if it's outside of Django. Even if it's outside of Django, because it's not referring to any Django static assets. So we want to be able to do that with this website builder, because we want people to be able to download the HTML, because we are selling it. That's going to be our business. Our business is building this content for people. So we want people to like, oh, you like this? All right, download, boom. For them to click a download button, they pay a little bit of money and then they download, and then we can like save all of this. So the other thing that we need to be able to do as well is that we've created the content over here, as you can see it inside of the views. All right, but it's not being saved anywhere, so it's not persistent content. When you refresh the page, it's going to disappear. So the next thing we want to do is we want to put this inside of a database, so that the next time you come back, you could just maybe want to edit things a little bit. You're going to edit some things. You can edit some of your content yourself to make it the way that you want it, and then rebuild the file again, and in future, you know what I'm saying? Like, we want to make this like a proper working website. Okay. So I've downloaded this files. I was just waiting for the download. I'm going to like now open the files. Let's see what's included in the files. Zuki landing page. So there it is. Let's open it in here. Let's move it a little bit. Zuki 2.0. There is the HTML. Awesome. This is really cool. I like what I see there. So I remember which index, I can't remember which index we said we were going to use. But let me like push this in here and see index 1. I think this is the one we said we would use, index 1. Yeah. Because we said we'd put an image over there, an illustration. We said would have 3 different, and then we would have that. Okay, so let's just rebuild this page properly, right? So let's open it up. Let's open it up. I'm going to open it inside of Open with Atom. I'm just going to open it in here, and I'm going to quickly edit it so that the format looks more like this format. So I'm going to edit it to have this kind of a format, because this is how I've built my data structure. All right. So let's do that quickly. I'm going to do it off camera to save you time, and then you can pause this video here and try and do it yourself. Otherwise, you can pause it and then you can see what I've done by the time I'm just done doing this quick edit. Okay, cool. Now what we have done is I've just reduced the elements that I don't need. So I have that part, initial description, the initial landing part, the services, the sort of more information, the features. There's 3 features that we have, and then there's a contact form at the end. All right. So what we'll do with the contact form is that, maybe we'll do it in such a way that when somebody submits the contact form, it just it writes an email. It writes an email to the person that belongs to that bought this website from you. Okay. So this is simple enough. So you'll see here's my HTML. All right, I have like completely remove the sections that I don't need, but we have a problem still. Okay, so if you look over there, if I copy this HTML as it is, right, if I copy this HTML and let's say I create inside of our templates, I create a not index, not website. This actually should be in here, but let's create a new file and let's call it website 1, okay, .html, and I put it in here. and I go back into my, so where's my index? Let's then just remove that. Then I go back into my views, and instead of displaying website.html, let's say I display website 1. Okay, so let's call this website 1 and website 1.html. All right, and there's no context. We just want to display this HTML because I want to show you that we need to still access the CSS and the HTML. I mean the CSS and the JavaScript. So if I say website 1.html and I go into my URLs and the website, and I go into my URLs and I want to create a URL for website 1. So path, I want to create a path for website 1, website 1, website 1. This website 1 should coincide with that, and it should display this website 1.html, which is inside of the website folder. All right, so I just want to this is what the website looks like currently when it can access the CSS. If we go over here and we get add, get commit, move to Django, we move to Django and we restart this. Oh, because I removed the old one, so I must keep the old one. So that I must keep whatever was on website and have a new one that is called website 1. So I don't want to delete the old one. I want to keep the old one as well. All right. Do not delete the old website HTML. All right, git push, and let us run this. Now, if we run this, and we need to run this on our application over here. If I go to website 1, I just need to go to like this location, website 1. This is the new HTML that I just sent. Okay, you can see it can't access the CSS. In fact, if you go and look at your, where you're running the thing, you can see that all these files, it cannot find all these files. So what I need to do is that I need to go back to website 1.html and I need to look for where all of these CSS and JavaScript is. With Django, I would need to save this inside of the static folder and then refer to a URL for static at the top there. But we're not gonna do that this time because we're gonna do something different. We're gonna save it in the CDN. And yes, you can still do the same thing and save it in the CDN, but still the problem is that this is really only accessible via Django. So I want this to be accessible outside of Django, like a CDN. I want this to work the way a CDN works. If you look at our index.html, the way we did the CDN here, I want to be able to have an absolute URL that is accessible publicly on the internet, which means if somebody downloads my template, the CSS should work anyway. That's why I want to do it. I do understand that with the Django, yes, I can still do the static for Django and still then push this to Spaces in something like DigitalOcean and still access it that way. But that's not what I want to do, because I want to be able to have somebody download the whole HTML and take it with them, even if it's outside of a Django application, that it will still work. So if I look at my old, where is it now? Did I close that file? Why did I do that? Index1.html, did I close it? Let me open it again. No, not like this. I want to open the index1 inside of Atom. Why did I close it? So this index1, currently it's referring to this CSS. Okay, so if I look at where they are located inside of the CSS folder. All right. And the JavaScript is inside of the JavaScript folder, and obviously the IMGs and everything. Okay, so if I go back over here and I look at this CSS, JavaScript images. Let me look at the images as well. Okay, let's say I want to get all the images as well. I probably don't need the PHP, so let's delete that one. SCSS, probably, because it's then talks to everything else except for the index, right? So what I want to do here, I want to go into an online place like Spaces. So remember last week we discussed DigitalOcean Spaces. So you just go into your DigitalOcean account and go under Spaces, right? You can either create a new space or work off an existing space. Spaces are just a good place to host static content on the website, and that's what we're going to use. So when we get over here, I'm going to create a new folder, and I'm going to call it website builder. Actually, I'm going to call it AI website so that I remember what it is. Then I'm going to go into this folder here that I've just created. All right, can you go into it? You click on it, there you go. I'm now inside of this AI website, and then I want to upload these folders in here. I think I can also drag and drop, right? So I'm going to drag and drop the CSS. It's 8 files, and I want it to be public, right? So I want it to be accessible publicly. Then I'm going to load them. Where is it? Is it loading? Is it not loading? Oh goodness. Okay, let's try this again. I want it to be public. There you go. It's uploading the file. So I'm going to upload all of the files in here. So the CSS was, so maybe let's see if we can just highlight them all. And fonts, the JavaScript, and the SCSS. All right, so let's just move them all and all of them to public. There you go. So what are these errors? Okay. Let's just remove the ones that didn't upload. All right, so now we need to then find the specific location for this Bootstrap, but I think I've got Bootstrap. So Bootstrap is instead of CSS, Bootstrap min. So if I go into CSS and I look for the Bootstrap min file, which is this one, I just need to find the absolute path for it, okay, and copy that URL and replace it in here, right? So now this is a direct absolute link to that CSS, right? And then the CSS material design icons min, let's do that, which is this one over here. Let's copy that URL and paste it in there, right? The next one is the CSS style.css, so which is this one over here, the style.css. Let's copy that URL and paste it in there. All right, so now we are accessing the CSSs directly, and you can see over here there's still more at the top here. So everywhere with the CSS dash, let's just try and find all of these. All right, so material design icons min.css. all right, material design icons min.css, isn't that the same? Why do you have it twice? Why is it twice? I think material icon, pix icon, this is now CSSP icon 7, which is this one over here. All right, let's copy that one. I'm assuming this is the exact same thing, but I don't know. But let's just paste it here anyway, just to be on the safe side. Maybe there's a reason why they have it twice in here, but it would make no sense to me. And then the tiny slider CSS, all right? Where is the tiny slider? There it is. The tiny slider. Let's copy that URL as well. All right. If you're wondering why there are two URLs over here, you can see when I hover over something like this, you can see there's the origin and there's the edge. Okay. The origin is just it will still work, all right. The edge is CDN hosted though, okay. And CDN hosted, what's the nice thing about it is that, you know, with CDNs you get sort of faster access to the files because the CDN serves it from the closest location to the person that's requesting the file. So if someone is in the US and they want to access your website from there, it will load from the content will be are loaded from the closest location to where that person is using the CDN. Okay, so generally, in short, you know, not to confuse you, it just means that the stuff loads faster. All right, and then I'm not going to put in the icon for now. I'm going to leave it blank. And then I'm going to go all the way to the bottom and I'm going to do the bundle and these ones, the JavaScripts, you know. So let's go back here and look for the JavaScripts, which are these ones now. Instead of the JS files, there is app.js over here at the bottom, which is this one there. So we can copy that and put it in here. And then tiny slider, JS, which is the one at the bottom over there. We can copy that URL as well and paste it in there. The gumshoe polyfill, JS gumshoe polyfill is this one over here. All right, and let's copy that URL and put it in there. The smooth scroll polyfill, where is it? Smooth scroll polyfill. Let's copy that and paste it in there. And the bootstrap bundle main JS, okay? Bootstrap bundle main JS. Let's copy that as well and paste it in there. Now we are accessing the files directly from their CDN location. So if I save all of this, actually, let me save all of this, and I should have it in my website one, not the one which I'm doing locally. So I should have just pasted it in here. Yeah, and same at the top there, index 1 at the top. So why is it looks different over here than it looks over there? Shouldn't be a problem. All the links, everything up to the shortcut icon, let's copy that, and at the top there replace everything up to the shortcut icon. Right. No. Copy, paste. This should be CSS. All right, cool. So let's save this. Oh, this is now website 1, and see how website 1 looks like this time. All right. Okay, replace the static content. All right, and let's push this now. Let's restart this. Let's clear so you can see and run this. And if we now go back there where we couldn't see much, let's rerun it. There we go. We now have our CSS and JavaScript. Okay, you will notice that the icons are not there because some of them are images. So we'll have to do the same thing with the images, or we're going to create and find our own images that sort of suit the website. Okay, so what we're doing now is that we have now managed to run the entire website with content that is hosted online, which means even if I downloaded this HTML as is and I gave it to somebody and they ran this website, it will work in any location, because it's gonna be accessing all of its static content on the website directly, right? So that's really cool, and that's the kind of thing you'd want to do with the website builder, especially if you're allowing people to download CSSs directly. You want them to work anyway without them having to download the static content every time, because the average user is not going to figure that stuff out. Then what else are we missing? The images. All right, the images. Okay, so we need to display the images. So let's have a look over there. If we look over here, you can see this images over there. We could just use that old image that was there before. So we just need to find where this image is. Images Homer 2 BG. So if we go back to our static and go to we go to images, instead of images there is that Homer 2. Where is it? HOMR 2. Where is it? What is it? It's whole images HOMR 2. HOMR 2. Yeah, there you go. Is this one here? Is it BG bottom .png? Is this one over here, right? So we can just put that image there, right? And then the next thing that we can't see is where's my thing? Let's put it closer. Is this icons over there under our services? So if you go to our services over there, there you go. You've got next to awesome support, just above this awesome support, div href. This is where it should be going, the div mdi service icon, MDI database. So the MDI icons are not showing. Okay, so it's the MDI icons not showing over there. We'll come back to it. Let's look at the next image here. This is images about IMG. So let's put that one in there. Images about IMG is this one there. So let's copy that one and put it in here. Right, and then let's continue down and under the features as well. So next to the features, it looks like again the icons are not showing, but the icons are, if I look at the icons here, let's say marketing performance as well. You've got the features icon, all right, and then this is the class. All right, so what we could do here is we could also just replace this kind of icon with a different kind of icon which we can access via CD, and that's probably the best solution, instead of trying to get these ones to work, because maybe there's a way we didn't download, maybe the linking is not working properly with the CSSs in there, right? But these images, we should be able to get images features IMG. So if we go into images and we look at the features IMG in here, we go in there, and inside of features IMG, obviously then you have IMG 1, 2 and 3, right? So we can just like copy that and put IMG 1. All right, the next one would be IMG 2. It doesn't even matter if it was just IMG 1 all the way, and then the third one should be IMG 3. All right, do you see what we're doing now? And sometimes I think it's always important to do things differently, because then you will get an idea of what exactly is happening here. All right, so I'm going to save this, and then I'm going to go in here and I'm going to push this again and say that include the images for now. All right, and then get push origin master, and let's see, let's restart that. All right, and let's refresh the page. You can see the images are now clear. You can see, oh no, so this was not the right image at the beginning here. That was just the background image. IMG there. Oh, there it is. Home to IMG, this one over here. All right, so let's go back here and where is it? Home to IMG. Home to, yeah, it's this one. All right, so let's put this one in there. We missed this one, so that's just the background. Okay, if we save this, home to, right, and right, and then we refresh this, and this time we should be able to see it properly. There's our image. Okay, so now we've got the website working, the images, and now we just need to do the exact same thing with the content. So here where it says make your thing real, over there, making it real, we just need to replace this with all the different headings that we know we have inside of our views. All right, so inside of our views, we know that the first one is the section 1 title that goes into where's website 1. Let me put it next to it so that I can just find it easily. So we know this is the section 1 title that goes in here. All right, so let's replace that. The next bit that goes into this paragraph over there, we know it's a section 1 description. All right, is the section 1 description is this one here. All right, that's the section 1 description. All right, and I think at the top here we had the business name. All right, so we need to also push the business name to the context, right? So context, business name is equals to business name. We just need to push it in there because we're using it somewhere at the top of the page. All right, and then we've got all of these: service 1 title, service 1 description. Let's have a look there. So when we go down a little bit more, after this, these are all the services. So this is now the service 1 title. Okay, this is service 2 title. All right, service 2 title, and the third one is service 3 title. Service 3 title. And then the descriptions, it's like a service 1 description, service 2 description, and service 1 description, 2 and 3, right? So we just copy that and we put that in here. Do you see what we're doing now? Now we're getting there. Now we're like properly, we've got our website builder good to go. Right, and then the service 2, same thing. Instead of 1, we've got 2 there, and then service 3, pretty much the same thing, just remove the commas, and this is service 3 description. All right, and then over here is again the learn more about us. So this is also the third one. This is now this section 3 title and description. All right, so we're going to replace this section 3 title. All right, and then we're going to replace that section 3 description over there. Right, right, section 3 description about us. And our features, again, we've got the feature title and descriptions. So let's start with feature 1 title. All right, so let's copy that and put it over here. Features 1 title, features 2 title, features 3 title. So this is 3, 2, and 1. Okay, then the descriptions, again the features 3 descriptions. All right, so let's put that in here. So this is like 2 paragraphs, it doesn't matter. Let's see what's happening here. So I'm going to remove this second P and just have, we're going to have just 1 paragraph. Okay, features 1 description. Same over here, let's remove the second one and just have it 1. So we're just going to have this once. Features 2 description, and then the third one, again let's remove the second paragraph. We could also have built-in 2 paragraphs. I didn't foresee that. You can do that, if you want. This is 3 title. All right, and then get in touch and all of that. So this is now website 1.html. okay, so this website 1.html, inside of our view, when we are displaying, we need to display website 1.html. okay, website 1. Okay, and website 1 is now that website 1 feature, so it's going to display with this content in there. All right, which is this website 1. It's going to display this nice builder, and I think I'm very excited to see what this is going to look like. All right, let us have a look at that. Features. All right, get push origin master. Coolio. So let's restart this. Did it restart? Let's clear it so that I can run it on a clean page and you can see exactly what's going on here. So now we're gonna go back to the home page. Okay, this blab home page. And by the way, we can also redo this, and this is what the template I wanted to use for the home page later on. Okay, but I don't think we're gonna get to it because this is taking long now. Hey, so now somebody comes here, they land on your website, you show them all the nice things, like you're going to build the way I've shown you. Just go and download this template and build a landing page that looks really nice. I've shown you how to do that many times in the past. I think I'm going to skip that part today. And somewhere there's a form that says, let's build your website. Tell us more about your website. All right. And then they come in there, they give you their website name. So let's pick a nice website name. Let's pick Apple. All right. Apple is the business name. And the business details is mobile. We produce state of the art mobile telephone devices with 5G connectivity, and I don't know, and the best camera in the market, something like that. Okay, you know the way AI works, the more material you give it to work with, the better the outputs are going to be. So play around with this, and if you come here and maybe you don't like some of the outputs a bit more, you can also always just sort of rework some of the prompts. Like I've shown you how to do the prompts. You have to play around with the prompts to get the prompts to give you what you want. So let's press that, and we are working on the content, and it's gonna go to produce the content that we want it to produce. It's taking time. We've calculated this takes about 30 seconds. So I'm just gonna have a sip of my tea while I wait for it to finish. And we've included the landing page template with CSS hosted on our DigitalOcean spaces with CDN, and boom, there is the website. Sleek mobile telephones with 5G connectivity. Apple is the leading producer of mobile telephones devices. They have the best camera in the market with 5G connectivity. Our service is the best phone. Get the latest and you can see this one, something is missing always on the second one. I think I need to have a look here what's going on, because it's doing this for the second time, so maybe I've missed something in the functions. So services to title is services 1 title, services 1 description, services 2 title, services 2 description. This is doing this for the second time, and I thought it was a fluke, but it can be a fluke twice, right? You can see it came out nicely over there. Yeah, 012. 012. I can't if you catch it, let me know. All right, the feature of mobile phones, and then it continues over there. Our features: 5G connectivity, state of the art, best camera on the market, best mobile device for business. I mean, wow, like if you were like a website builder company and you really like wanted to up your game, all right, templates are not my strength, and what I've shown you is just one template. What you can do is that you can work around with a template builder that can create multiple variations of a template, but the key is being able to give people content for their website. Is just amazing, especially using that with AI. And I think I'm gonna leave this one here because you can definitely take it a step further and explore multiple templates, and then you could even like store them in a database in a way that, like for example, you could store the template sets, like what we have here. You could have this as template set number 1, and you can put this inside of this folder called AI website, right? Or you could call this folder something that is relating to a certain type of a template that you're using, right? And then what you can do is then you can have multiple things, and then you can put them in different folders inside of your spaces. And then what you will do is, when somebody wants to build, you could also do a search from the templates that you've got and find the most suitable one for whatever it is they're doing. So for example, this might be great for like an online, web development website. But then somebody, let's say they want to do a medical website, or a doctor, or even let's say a farm, like a farm, which maybe the colors you might want them to be green or whatever. You could then just replace the template with a different one, and you could do another search, maybe even randomize it. You could even randomize it, or you could store the templates under different descriptions, under different names, and then you could have like labels next to them, and then you could do like a quick search. If the business type is like, I don't know, green, you could then sort of like look for a template that best suits it. But you could do it programmatically and just replace this part of the thing programmatically, like you could do that. And then inside of your views, you could do another function that searches or randomizes your list of templates you have, and then display the appropriate template over here. All right, what am I doing here now? What did I do? So I don't like to undo, because I forget the things I've undone. I over undo things. Okay, so this should be 3. All right, cool. So that's what I wanted to say to you, but I think I'm going to leave this tutorial here. Maybe inside of my Skolo Online, I'm going to take it further and do all of that, what I'm explaining to you, that you can really rebuild this. There's so much you can do with this. You can even randomize the images that are coming. You could also have like an image database where you store your images, and then you try and find their most appropriate image to use. So if someone is looking for a mobile telephone device, you can associate that with mobiles, and then you can display a mobile device here instead of this. You know what I'm saying? So you can randomize the template, and you can randomize the images, and you could store the images same way you've done with your spaces. You could have another database for images inside of spaces. And nice thing about a DigitalOcean is that you pay per space. So I can have one space and pay $5 for that one space. But in that one space, I'm not limited as to how much I can store in there. So you could literally store gigs and gigs of information in one space, and they're not going to charge you much extra. So you could go and start building a collection of images or illustrations for your website builder, and you could structure them according to different what the image is about. And then when somebody does a search over here, inside of the view, you could search in your database for the right image, and you could then display the right image inside of the CSS and whatever. And the same with the template. So you could have multiple variations of images and templates that come out based on the search. And every time somebody does a builder, they get something different. And then all you need to do after this is just download this HTML. You can download this HTML very easy. You can even view inspect source. You can just download this HTML. This you can download, and you can run this anyway. Like if I download this the way it is right now, and I copy this, this is HTML, and then I create a new HTML file. let me just put it in the root of this thing to like demonstrate to you what I'm talking about. And then I call this new.html, and I paste this in, I paste the stuff that I downloaded in here, and then I run this new.html in my web browser. It will show the website properly because all of the linking content, the CSS and the static content is hosted online. It's like an email template. It always works every way. So you could like just let people download this and then you charge them for this per website. I mean, you could charge, I don't know, even if you charge $100 per website, you're gonna build this once, and depending on the amount of traffic that you get, you could make some reasonable amounts of money here. But I'm going to end this tutorial here. I'm going to not continue with it because I think there's nothing new that I'm teaching you now, because it's just a matter of perfecting the the build up. Now I've shown you how to do the database. You could save this information in the database. I've already done the data structure for you, so all you need to do over here is to save this thing in a database under that person's profile. That's it. And then the next time they log in, they can just access the website they built the last time. So you can have persisting information so that it doesn't get lost. I've already done the database for you. I've already done the model for you with all of this content and the services and everything, and you could just build this into the database. But I'm not going to do that here. Maybe I will continue with it in my website. Let me know if you want me to continue building this in my online website, and maybe I will load more videos. But I think I've done enough that you would be able to continue with this yourself to make it something that you can charge people for. All right, next week we're gonna start a new tutorial. Actually, it's something that has been on my mind for a while. People have been asking me to build this, and I'm going to start building it, and I'm not going to tell you about it until next week. So if you're interested, make sure that you tune in next week on this channel to learn about what we're going to be doing next. And guys, again, thank you for watching. See you next time.